Mayo's Lunchbox. Find out what's being served with Mike, Defo and Lubie, the only show that covers food, sports, and the proper maintenance of your car. And now, a man who had the distinction of having an entire health clinic named in his honor, Mike Mayo.
I want the flim sauce with the awesome fave, with shafafa on the side.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to a special Thursday remote edition from our friends at Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market here on lovely State Road 7441 in Hollywood.
Right. Dinner with a view.
Dinner
it's
with
fantastic,
a view.
Yeah.
You can find it because it's right across from the great, grand, old, classic Seminole casino. Also used to be the bingo hall, but now they just call it the Classic. And we're here today. We got a very special show lined up for you today. We're going to be previewing summer grill season. I can't believe, well, I don't know how many seasons there are in South Florida.
That would be one.
Right? What's that? Yeah, it's
like, always summer.
It's always some. Well, no, there's stone crab season, non-stone crab season.
Oh, that kind of season.
There's hurricane season, non-hurricane season.
Used to be a Calder, Gulfstream, Hialeah.
Right.
Is there a baseball season?
Yeah.
I don't know. Is there a Marlins season? Do you follow the Marlins?
They kind of disappeared from the radar last night. They had a hideous loss that fortunately got lost in cyberspace because of all the other stuff that was going on with the local teams.
Yeah, I think their viewership was probably 0.0 last night.
I nearly pulled a Mayo on the show this morning. I was just going to put an omelet right over my face.
Well, you were wrong. You gave nobody any chance.
The only time I was more wrong than that was when I agreed to a bunch of stipulations I knew were never going to be kept when I said I do to my second marriage. Yeah. I think even death do us part, which we nearly killed each other. So that one almost, went to
That was almost a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Exactly.
Anyway, we're here today. Let's introduce our special guest of honor.
Yeah.
It's Jesse Jacobs. He's the Vice President of Marketing and Sales for Performance Food Group, Performance Food Service, based out of Miami. And he's here to talk about one of the things that is featured here at Delaware Chicken and Seafood is beef, and it's specifically Braveheart beef brand, which is high quality Black Angus beef. Why don't you just tell us a little bit about your program here and just in general, just about what Braveheart is all about and where we can find it.
Yeah, I would love to. Thanks a lot for having me, Mike. What a great platform. Any opportunity I have to talk about Braveheart Black Angus, we're going to talk about.
Well, any opportunity I have to eat beef, is Braveheart beef.
Well, and by the way,
beef.
we're set up for like the Last Supper here. Unbelievable. And we've already been forewarned.
They brought in the auxiliary
even Mayo
table.
Can't consume enough stuff to finish off what they're offering up today.
When we got Jose, who, of course, the great manager here at Delaware, when he brings in the auxiliary table, it's going to be a serious feast.
Yeah,
so I took an
He
extra.
considers it a challenge to see if he can feed you enough during the course of the hour. It's great.
I'm looking forward to it. Got my stretchy pants. Doubled up on the Lipitor
and
this
a new
morning.
shirt, man. Very nice.
Yeah. I am all ready to go. All right, I apologize, Jesse.
No, it's great. It's great.
Just tell us a little bit about the brand.
Yeah, I would love to. So we started the Braveheart Black Angus program about 14 years ago. 2 years into the program, we realized that we needed to invest in DNA verifications, right? So that's really the first thing that kind of sets this apart. A lot of spec calls for a black-hided animal, though there's no science behind it stating that it's truly Black Angus, right?
Wow, we get into the
science.
I didn't even
diving
realize
right
it.
in.
Like DNA. Is Barry Sheck involved? Or is it...
right. No, it is the one thing that we all talk about our programs and what's the point of difference, et cetera, and how are we creating value.
Yeah.
That is it, right? It's the DNA traceability, knowing that you're getting what you're paying for, right? And that's really what it is.
Where are these cattle based? I mean, it's the Midwest. Or...
Yeah, exactly right. It's a Midwest program where clover is high. We finish them in Kansas.
Okay. Kansas beef is something that I can always get on board with. When I used to travel as a sports writer a million years ago, always loved stopping off in Kansas City, which is technically Missouri, but it's Nebraska, all that stuff. But the brand itself, I guess, though, Braveheart, Performance is out of Richmond, Virginia, and it's
Correct.
been around since 1885. Is that correct?
Yeah, Pocahontas Foods. Yeah, that's our that's where it all started.
Wow. So, and then it's just kind of expanded. And now tell us a little bit. You're based in Miami.
Correct.
And you service a lot of local restaurants and
we do
markets. And
so we're a national company we go into Canada as well. Out of about 63 divisions across the country, I'm just one vice president of many here at the Miami division. And we service all of our local operators. We have a solid focus on independent restaurateurs down here in the South Florida market.
Mm-hmm.
Every single week, I ship about 1,000 independent restaurateurs. We've got about 1,600 total customers that are bringing in trucks.
And so, I guess what sets, besides the breeding, the DNA, like the average layperson, can they tell the difference between a Braveheart Black Angus piece of meat, a steak, and maybe something that's just choice out of their supermarkets? Or
I sure hope so. We put a lot of time into that, so I can. It is said that the muscle fibers are shorter, right? They're not as long, so it makes for a much better eating experience.
It's more tender.
Yeah.
And this gets into the point of how do you properly prepare a steak? I mean, if we're talking summer grill season, and it's year-round grill season down here, and depending on whether you have a gas grill, I have a propane Weber. Do you have like a standard way that you get the optimum flavor and juiciness, tenderness out of beef? Should you marinate it? Should you just put some kosher salt on it? Do you have any like cooking tips and grilling tips for people?
I think Mike set me up to get lit up in the comments here because I think everyone has a different opinion on how to cook a steak.
Well, I like getting the Let's Eat South Florida 100,000 people.
He just fans the
riled up.
flames. He acts like he's the editor of the thing, trying to control the piece, but he only creates pandemonium.
I'm standing off to the side with the butane lighter and the kerosene.
And he loves it. He loves this aspect of it.
I'm not announcing my candidacy here, so we'll go ahead and say.
But you're on to him, which is good. It didn't take you long to catch on.
The best way to cook a steak is how you like it, right? I mean, I like a nice hot grill when I'm cooking my steak. I like it rare as well.
Mm-hmm.
We can talk about what makes Braveheart different in doing that and why you can cook a steak properly. But there's nothing wrong with a good smoked reverse sear or sous vide or anything. But when it's a good piece of meat,
vide, don't get me started on that. But go ahead.
Right?
Yeah, it's boiling it in plastic. I want it on a nice hot sizzling flame, and you get that good. But we're getting into the nitty gritty of food debates. But like you said, your
slow
beef,
cooked short rib in a sous vide is still rare
true.
in the middle.
That's true. If we're talking short rib, that's good.
You got it, man. You can't with the jab.
I wouldn't sous vide a burger.
He immediately made a face when you mentioned sous vide. The rest of us didn't even know what you were talking about. Yeah, it was great.
It's like boiling a bag of vegetables. I don't know.
Hey, I'm curious though. I mean, we're horse players, so we go down to the paddock, look at the horses, and you're thinking, "Oh wow, look at that one! He looks great today. He looks ready to run." You'll see people in the meat department of various, stores wherever it's being purchased here. Like maybe you don't have to necessarily scrutinize stuff at Delaware Chicken Farm because it's all great. Yeah, but what are some of the identifying characteristics? I mean, I see a guy holding up a steak and he's looking at it. I mean, what are some of the things that you look for if you're trying to detect which is the best quality piece of meat?
Yeah. So it all kind of starts and stops with economics, right? So the more pounds you can process, the more profitable you're going to be, right? It behooves both feedlots and processors to have big, huge cattle. Right? On our Braveheart program, Black Angus program, that carcass weight's 850 pounds. That compares to about 1,200 pound carcass weight of other programs out there. What that does is it gives you a smaller loin. What does a smaller loin give you? A thicker cut steak when you order that 14-ounce strip. That helps the kitchen. That helps the kitchen cook it to a rare or a mid-rare without overcooking it. And you're not getting that big, huge diner strip or T-bone that takes up the whole plate when you go in. It gives you more of a high-profile, higher-end looking steak that's much more appealing. And that's why we do so well with our middle meats, our ribeyes, and our strip loins.
Yeah, and that's kind of the king to me for a steak eater. The ribeye is like the king of flavor. Got that good marbling.
Should the definition of rare though be more universal? Because it seems like you'll go to some restaurants, you ask for a steak rare, and they give you the Mayo face, like rare. I mean, that's going to be basically raw. And then other places, you ask for it rare, and it comes out medium rare. And then when you say, "Hey, wait a minute, it's a little overcooked," they go, "Oh no, that's the way it is. That's rare. You should have said something else." Is there a universal standard? I mean, what would you say that should be?
I don't think there's a universal standard. There probably should be. I think one thing we could all agree on is a good steak eater is never going to order well.
Yeah, I was going to sell. Like, what would you do if you saw somebody like, just going to one of the restaurants that use and they would just say, "Can I have it well done?" Or as Dick Steen would say, an end cut. Oh my God. No, I mean, when you get good beef, it's just let the beef do the talking and or do the mooing, which is
I want
on
it
the
practically
talking.
Yeah, yes. I'm with you on that. But people frown on it. I guess the other time it comes up a lot is with burgers. And is that a myth that you shouldn't have burgers made rare? Because when you ask for a rare burger in some places now, they'll just tell you, well, we don't make it that way. But if I'm at home, that thing's going on, like you said, the highest flame for a couple of seconds, and then, it's going on a bun.
Yeah, I think refrigeration and inspections and everything where we're at from a food safety standpoint, there's nothing wrong with getting a rare burger anymore. I think back in the day that could have been problematic.
Because you do provide like ground meat and high-end burger meat.
Yeah,
also?
Yeah, we do. Now, Delaware here, they actually grind their own chuck rolls.
Okay,
they're one of the few. I don't know many places down here in South Florida that are actually grinding their own chuck rolls to make ground beef. Typically, they're buying it ground already. But yeah, we sell a lot of ground beef.
Okay, so and again, the higher the quality, you can get away with the getting it rare, medium.
It's like,
rare.
what are you scared of? That's the question.
I like a medium rare burger. Well, Defo, for some people who have compromised immune systems, people who are older, there's definitely different guidelines for food safety.
I didn't know if the fear was as pronounced as like most people would have you think that it should be.
Yeah, I don't
having a rare burger.
I'm more afraid of lettuce these days.
Me too.
Unwashed lettuce, but
we drive down 95 every day. What are we worried about?
That's true. Oh my goodness. Well, he's got the lobster
Here
out first,
come.
but we're gonna get. I'm waiting for the beef. Where's the beef? I guess you mentioned, the economy, the economics of, I guess. Steak and putting meat together, and the most I guess you got to be mindful for restaurants and markets to get maximum yield. But I guess also we talk about consumers and getting bang for the buck too. What do you sense? Is there any kind of have there been shifts in the last year? I mean, we talk about inflation, and has higher prices led to people changing their habits and buying different cuts of meat, or what are you seeing?
Yeah, it's a good question. It is an indicator, right? I mean, it's more of a tattletale, I think, of where you're at presently. People will not only trade down, I think is what we're ultimately talking about, trading down from a strip loin or a ribeye on that plate to maybe ground beef, maybe we're ordering a burger, but also that trade down leaks into poultry and pork and some of those other value areas as well. But at the end of the day, when we're talking about Braveheart Black Angus program, and there's a number of other comparable programs out there, steak eaters are going to be steak eaters, right? They're going to order that stuff, and they're going to continue to drive. We might see a difference peel off in the retail side. You might see a lot more roasts being sold, a lot more ground beef being sold. But for our restaurants here in South Florida, they're going to still have no problem selling a good steak.
So we're here at Delaware Chicken and Seafood Market, but also the home of Braveheart Beef.
Yeah.
Let's talk specifically. You mentioned they do these little extras here, like grinding their own chuck rolls. And what else? What's been your relationship with them? How did you get first into this market, and what do you think of their steak program, and what's the big sellers here? Do you get a sense of what they what they like to push and what they sell?
They do a great job with the ribeyes here. They have a strong clientele for their ribeyes here. They also do a great job with strips, and that's pretty typical with any of our Braveheart customers. The size of that animal with those smaller, when you get that thick 14-ounce ribeye, that you just don't typically see, that's going to really drive a lot of customers in. Some of the things that Delaware does that I'm always just inspired by, right, is just their quality control standards. Jose, right? And how in tune he is with markets and everything going on, but everything from their age spec, right? They're getting everything wet age that's coming in here, and they have a specified number of days that they want me to keep that. So it's breaking down a little bit more for a more tender eating experience. They cut everything in house. They don't allow me to send them anything already pre-cut. They're doing all that stuff in house.
Right. They're old school butcher. Like they take pride in doing things old school.
They do, and when they're doing it, they're thinking about their customer. When we first went out here and started talking to them about our Braveheart program, they took that whole primal, right? They took the whole strip, and they broke down every piece of fat, and they cut that fat and I have a tight fat trim spec. I mean, it's 1/4 inch. I mean, they're taking that thing all the way off of that before they put it in their case, and they're weighing that out, and they're talking to me about per pound and yields and what that's going to come out to. And I was like, man, you guys know what you're doing, but it's all for their customer.
And it makes it look gorgeous on the eye. Like you walk past and it's like, oh, I was going to get some fish in some store. Well, I'll get some stone crab, but instead of the fish, maybe I got to get myself a nice juicy steak.
That's right.
Very impressive. Yeah. How quickly is this company growing? Because, you're on, I guess, out meeting new clients or potential new clients, and The explanation is great. How receptive are people to it? Because, here you have Doug, and he's old school, but, he obviously was open to this new science. How do you find the reception is, and how quickly is Braveheart growing?
It's growing tremendously. Over the last 14 years, to go from where we've been to where we are today is just incredible. There is any number of restaurants that you can walk into down here and eat a Braveheart steak, whether they're talking about the program and everything that's behind it, everything from the science to the humane welfare of animals and their procurement process and procedures. You're eating it. It's out there more than you would think. It's really grown, and it's done a great job for us. It's a tremendous program for us. We have some great partnerships with people within that supply chain that kind of set it apart, and I'll kind of back into this a little bit to talk about those. So COVID kind of changed things a little bit.
Yeah,
right?
I was going to ask you what's been different. Yeah,
this is kind of like the proof on the plate, as they say, right? So we have partnerships.
Here we go.
Oh my goodness!
Now we
see what you were talking about.
Now
this is where the proof is about this
they
science.
Take care of us, don't they?
Yeah.
There we go. Oh, look at this.
My
we got
goodness.
individual steaks. They got nicely grilled with some
else
potatoes and
is sitting down?
asparagus.
Smells fantastic.
Oh, wow. There we go. And I guess maybe well, thank you, Jose. I guess I'm trying to identify some of these cuts, but it's like it's a whole stampede of cattle has just come over the
smells fantastic.
We have some meat here.
Yeah.
It's like fantastic.
We got some strips, we got some ribeyes, we got a little bit of both.
We do.
Yeah, great. So sorry to interrupt, but yeah, what changed during COVID? What have you?
Little
changed?
sidetracked here with the food, man. It smells great
too.
Yeah.
So here's what we found out through COVID. So we've always partnered three ways. We partner with the feedlots and the cattlemen through a group called Beef Marketing Group, right? And then we also partner with the processor. Okay. Through these partnerships, we actually go around, we kind of change the way that model is, where we're not just purchasing pounds from a processor, but we're going back to the feedlots and back to BMG, back to the beef co-ops, and paying them additionally per pound that makes it into a Braveheart box. What that did is that made more cattlemen want to get into a Braveheart box, obviously. We have these long-standing relationships with the processor. So while a lot of people were struggling with shortages and not getting product on their trucks over COVID, we were full.
Oh, that's
right.
good.
We weren't running into shortages.
We heard so much about supply chain issues and shortages.
Yeah.
By the way, Mayo very delicately distributing this, because I'm just waiting for him to grab one of those steaks with his fist and
just start gnawing on it
as is, because with the short time that you have available in the show, it's going to be hard to consume like all 5 of these. But if anyone can do it,
I would be remiss if I didn't.
Now, what cut is this now? This is a ribeye.
This one, I'm going to say, I don't. You know what? I don't know.
It looks like a ribeye to me.
It's a ribeye.
Yeah.
I'm in.
I should know these things. Looks like this one. I would call this medium, and it's dripping with beautiful juices and flavor, and looks like Jose coated it with some sort of a little marinade or gravy. Hold on.
They do a great job here.
Oh my God, that's tender.
Melt in your mouth, good, huh?
Well marbled, where you get the fat, but not too much.
You steal one of your forks, yeah. Thank you.
Grab that.
That is well
Are
done.
you in, Lubie? What are you doing?
That is some fine lunchbox fare right there, folks.
Oh, that's great.
Very good.
So is this what you do,
Melt
guys
in
do
your
all
mouth.
day? This is
What's
what
that?
you do all day? Walking around, grabbing some steaks?
Yeah. That's what he does.
Yeah, so this is tremendous what they do out here. And again, I don't know where he has a little grill back there, because most of the time people will walk in here and buy their steaks and, prepare them at home and grill them at home any way you want. But, one of the things Delaware does is they do have a good takeout program. And if you do want things cooked, whether it's their lobster steamed off or their crab cakes and things like that, they have roasted chicken. I'm not sure if they would finish off a steak for you here. We'll have to ask Jose after the thing.
Knowing Jose, they
Did it
find a
for
way to
us,
do
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the other things you notice, and we've always been impressed by this, because we're worried that somebody's going to hit the gas pedal. This is South Florida, and then put Mayo through the window here at Delaware Chicken Farm. But the people are in and out. I mean, this is not your standard grocery store service at the seafood counter or the deli counter or whatever, where you're hearing somebody after you're standing there for a half hour going, "Hey, Lou, you're going to come out here? You still on break?" I mean, people are in and out of here in no time flat, and they look like they're leaving very happy. So, this is fantastic. And obviously this is a big part of it, what you guys are doing with the meat counter.
And this looks like the strip line right
Wow.
I would agree.
here. And I'm going to just carve this bad boy up.
You're 1 for 1 so far. This is great.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Now, you also do the tenderloins, like the filet, the
Yeah.
cuts, all that stuff. And
Yeah, we do tenderloins down here in South Florida with our Latin influence, right? We do a lot of inside rounds, obviously a lot of flap. We're doing a ton of skirts down here as well. You know, Sergio's down in Miami is a great customer on the Braveheart program. People that are really interested in quality, they get it, right? They get the program.
let me ask you about skirt, because there's inside skirt, outside skirt.
Yeah.
What's the difference? Which one is, I guess, the more preferred one?
I think everybody's going for the inside skirt, right? I think it's just a tenderness thing.
Okay. And what happened with skirt steak? Because when I first moved here and I would get skirt steaks and I would throw them on the grill all the time, and they seemed like a more, I guess, affordable cut of meat. And then all of a sudden, it seems like the skirts have gone higher than even some of the sirloins and the ribeye. Or, what
We used to grind it. They used to be added into burger meat so that you could cut the cost of it because they didn't know what to do with it, But it was discovered and it's been no turning back. I mean, this stuff is more expensive than tenderloins.
It's just the supply and demand issue. Is that basically it?
That's exactly it.
Because people love it. Again, a flavorful cut that you throw on the grill, and all the churrasco steaks down here. And, you could also put it on a, bun and have a skirt steak sandwich. But it's just one of those things. I guess, do market the trends sometimes just change and people start buying more of something and it just changes the
I think people are always looking for that value cut. What can they do different? We saw the rise and almost fall of the flat iron kind of as the same sort of thing. The flat meat kind of got really popular there. The skirt's probably the most well-known example. But I don't think there's any more hidden pieces of meat on that cow anymore that kind of can drive that value. There are some different things, pieces of Terrace Major and other things, but everything has its pluses and minuses.
Beef liver,
right,
I think is still the
there you go, cheek.
But are you introducing any new products this summer for grill? I mean, do you make new burger blends or is there anything else?
I'm glad you said something about that. Yeah, we are. We're working on a primarily, we sell a lot of ground chuck, right, for our burgers, whether that's a fresh preformed burger or chubs or pillow packs. We've also done really well with a special blend burger, which is a chuck short rib skirt blend. And now we're looking at doing something that has a little bit more middle meat in that grind, right? So a little bit more strip and some ribeye in there for a real good steak burger. And that development should come out this summer.
All fantastic. Wow. Good stuff.
It's good stuff. I could put you on the spot and say, what's the best burger blend? And I guess it's the one you like. I'm also old school traditionalist. I know that, again, it's gotten popular with these mixed grinds with the brisket along with the chuck. But you give me an 80-20 chuck is also, to me, that's hitting the sweet spot. But that's it's all good. I mean, there's so many different varieties now, and that's the thing. You could try and mix and match and, try different products, try the different blends and see which one is the most satisfying for your family and for your own personal taste buds. So.
I like a flat top burger.
Flat top. We like
where you press it like a Shake Shack kind of thing. High fat.
Yeah.
Cooking right into all of its juices. I think that's great.
Yeah, you get that caramelized crust. I'm more of a steak burger guy. I like it big and thick and juicy, where it is rare and just the juices come dribbling down your cheeks and everywhere. Because I'm just a slob.
I changed my mind. That was a pretty good description.
That's
going with you.
It's all good. Well, I mean, Jesse, I really do appreciate you stopping by.
Glad to be here.
Stuff.
Thanks a lot for having me.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, and I guess I'm going to start polishing off every one of these steaks. I don't know what Jose that thought we were bringing wives and girlfriends or both, but no, I mean, there's so many steaks around. I can't wait to just dig in and polish every one of them off, and beautifully garnished too, with the asparagus and season. Of course, he's got the potatoes and the broccoli and the carrots. So
they've done a great job.
It's all good. Is there anything else that we left off the table? I mean, please feel free to.
How do people get in touch with you guys?
If they're in the business and would like to get involved and be part of the Braveheart beef program.
Probably the easiest way. I mean, they could go on to braveheartfoods.com. They could also visit my website, performancefoodservice.com, and we will reach out to them very quickly.
But excellent job. Yeah.
And of course, people that want to cook and eat this will come out to Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market, 4191 North State Road 7. in Hollywood, just below Sterling Road. And for those, like, if you're not around this area, like the beef can be found in like markets down in Miami or up in West Palm Beach or Palm Beach area. Yeah. Is there, if they go on a website, is there a locator?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, great.
They'd be able to find us.
BraveheartBeef.com.
There you go. BraveheartFoods.com.
BraveheartFoods.com. Who named it? And was it after the film?
It's a good question. I don't have an answer to it. I think
Okay.
it has something to do with the Scottish Highlands and where the Black Angus cattle originally came from.
The origins.
I don't know who exactly came up with that, though.
No, it's
probably Steve Sands, knowing Steve.
All good. All right. Well, Jesse, thanks
Appreciate
for
it,
coming
guys.
by.
Thanks
for coming by. It was a
just
pleasure. Thank you.
sating us with all this beautiful beef. And just again, people come out to Delaware Chicken and Seafood Market. It is here, open 7 days a week, and you can get a beautiful, stunning array of the beef, the burgers. They also have sausage. Of course, they're known for their poultry, and the seafood, the fish, and it's the last few days of stone crab season. I can think of no better dinner for this upcoming weekend, the last weekend of stone crab season, than come in here, get a couple of claws for your appetizer with their store-made, homemade dipping sauces, the classic mustard, Florida mustard sauce. And then get a couple of these big, beautiful Braveheart beef ribeyes and throw that on the grill. And you got a surf and turf to really tickle your taste buds, and you'll be able to enjoy quality. And that's what it's all about. Right. Life is too short for bad meat or not having a couple of great sweet stone crab claws before the season ends. And you'll get it here at Delaware. You go online to DelawareChicken.com for all the latest specials, the weekly specials, and the daily catch and their daily offerings. And again, they're open 7 days a week. They have curbside delivery. If you want to order it in advance, they'll deliver it right to your vehicle. And they are also known for the great grab-and-go takeout items, the fish dips, everything you want. They have it right here at Delaware. Come on out, see it for yourself. And, yeah, man, it's good stuff. And I am going to see how much steak I could eat during the break, right?
I don't know that we finish this off. No, this looks like To-Go City here coming up. All right, we're coming back with more from Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market right here on 441, just across from the Classic Casino, a little south on 441 of the Hard Rock, and well worth the trip. You can get Braveheart beef here. It's absolutely fantastic. When I first saw the beef display case, I said, wow, that is one of the most impressive displays of beef I've ever seen. And here we are at a Chicken Farm Seafood Market.
That's right.
But you can put beef right in the title. And thanks so much for stopping by. Appreciate it. Back with more from here in a moment. We'll see if Mayo could polish off all of these steaks.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Beach Cafe. It's a South Florida landmark, and it's one happy restaurant right on the water. Tables literally on the beach. A place where you could dip your toes in the sand, kick back, relax with island vibes, tropical drinks, and live music daily. You know it. It's at One Commercial Boulevard in Lauderdale by the Sea. And of course, it has Chef Chris Nealon and his famed Caribbean Floridian cuisine. The huge menu with something for everyone. Seafood, raw bar, conch fritters, burgers, sandwiches, salads, daily specials, and of course, that famous Bimini bread. They've got a great staff that'll take great care of you. There's something to celebrate every day. Open 7 days until late. Parking available on site. Happy hour weekdays 4 to 7 p.m. Go check out more at ArubaBeachCafe.com. Better yet, go in there yourself at Aruba Beach Cafe. Good food, drinks, friends, and laughter are always the catch of the day. When people come to me and say, Mike, where should I go out to eat? I got guests coming from out of town. Where should we go? Cafe Seville. That's the answer. 2768 East Oakland Park Boulevard. It's a Fort Lauderdale perennial, serving the finest in Spanish and continental cuisine in a cozy, friendly, comfortable setting. Joey Esposito and Sally, his better half, they've been running the place for a long time. It's been open since the 1980s. They got great Spanish classics like paella, shrimp with garlic sauce, and all kinds of great seafood dishes. The stuffed veal chop, oh, that's my favorite. Go to Cafe Seville. It's open every day but Sunday at 5 p.m. for dinner. Tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. Do you like burgers? Do you like wings? You like late night food and sports on big screen TVs and cold beer and friendly vibe and great people? Then you want to check out Shenanigans, 1300 South Federal Highway in Dania Beach. Go to Shenanigans, you get yourself all the good stuff, the fresh fish every day, the blackened grilled wings, and of course, the kitchens are open late. Go there, tell them that the Lunchbox, Mayo, and Defo sent you. Mayo here for Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market. Since 1951, family owned for over 70 years, the home of freshness. I've been a customer for over 3 decades, and it's the place to go for poultry, steaks, meats, and of course, their unbelievable selection of fish and seafood. They've got it all. Key West pink shrimp, grouper, snapper, lobster, and of course, Florida stone crab claws of all sizes. Don't forget their famous fish dip and a full selection of prepared foods. It's located at 4191 North State Road 7 in Hollywood, just across from the Seminole Classic Casino. Owner Doug Carter and crew will take great care of you. Make sure to check out their weekly specials and daily catch online at DelawareChicken.com. Quality, value, freshness, that's the Delaware way. Tell them Mike Mayo and the Lunchbox sent you. Do you like pizza? Who doesn't like pizza? Well, my spot for pizza is the Pizza Spot. It's in that little bit hard to find Riverside Park neighborhood of Fort Lauderdale, but it's totally easy to love. It's at 601 Southwest 12th Avenue, New Haven style, a pizza from Wade and Reese. It's a lovely outdoor spot. You could also pick up pies to go at 754-779-7788, 754-779-7788. Again, they're open every day but Monday for lunch and dinner. Some of the best pizza I've ever had. Go to Pizza Spot. They also have subs, salads, and more. Tell them the Gambling Gourmet sent you. If you like seafood in a comfortable setting, outdoors, even keel fish shack at the corner of A1A and Commercial Boulevard in Lauderdale by the Sea, that's my spot. It's upscale food in a down-home setting. The chef owners, Dave and Brad, do a terrific job with all the seafood classics that you want. They have the best grilled oysters in town, bang bang shrimp, lobster rolls, and deli fish specials. They also have weekend brunch Saturday and Sunday. They have deli happy hour 4 to 7, and they also have other weekly specials like mussels on Monday and oysters on Tuesday. Go to Even Keel Fish Shack and tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. Wow, we're back.
You're having trouble with resistance issues.
I am.
You're
I have
unable
no
to resist
discipline.
this lobster.
Absolutely
steak.
no discipline. I feel like an aristocrat.
Yeah,
I got
no, it's
steak.
great.
I got lobster stuffed with the special seafood stuffing here at Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market. I've got a Perrier. I'm an aristocrat.
Very nice.
And
the whole thing is great.
And we're here joined by Jose, the manager at Delaware. Welcome. Welcome back to the Lunchbox, and it's a pleasure being back here. Thank you for setting this up. A steak feast along with some lobster, surf and turf. Tell us what's going on. What's the lobster here? That's
lobsters right now that getting closer to Mother's Day weekend, and it's a nice present. Put it that way. We cooked it and we put like the seafood stuffing, which also has fresh scallops, fresh shrimp, crab meat.
And this is the Florida lobster or Bahama lobster?
That's the Bahamian lobster right now. The Florida lobster is closed.
Okay.
So
And you can get this ready to go like that, or
you can order
yeah,
it ready to go, and we'll cook it.
Wow.
It's a lot nicer just to have everything ready at home because it's nice and warm.
Okay.
That would be the perfect ideal. Just to cook it at home. You can take the seafood stuffing and you can take the fresh lobster and it's literally takes 10-15 minutes at home.
Phenomenal. How is it, Mike Mayo, food critic extraordinaire? Yeah.
It's lovely.
If he could stop eating long enough to write the column, he would have a review.
He can't resist himself.
I'm going to describe it because, people, there's a debate in the food world, especially on the Let's Eat group. If you give them a question of like, which do you prefer, Maine lobster tails or the Florida or Bahama lobster tails? It's a matter of personal preference. Some people, these are big and meaty, these Bahamian lobster tails.
Right now it's the same species between the Bahamas and Florida.
Right.
So it's just the amount of production that they do through the whole year. The Maine tails is like everything else. You're coming from the north of the United States, you always gotta like the Maine tails because they're sweeter than ours.
The cold water ones tend to be a little sweeter, but I tell you what, these are plenty sweet.
If you're from Florida, you don't like Maine. If you from Maine, you don't like Florida. So we carry both to please everybody in the business and the retail business. It's a nice touch for the Mother Day.
Tell me what's in the stuffing.
We got the imitation crab meat, fresh crab meat, a shrimp, scallops, the breading. So you're getting everything on.
A veritable seafood smorgasbord in there. And again, this is an option for Mother's Day this year, the lobster tails, because the stone crab season, unfortunately, for some conservation measures, ending earlier the last few years, May 1st, instead of it used to be May 15th, which would carry you through to Mother's Day. But I don't know why they didn't just start the season later and make it and get us to Mother's Day, which I assume a lot of restaurants and markets would prefer. But I don't make the rules. We just follow them, right?
We just follow, and we just have to go along. But the stone crab season right now is like we getting the shipments. It's just smaller amount.
Okay.
It's like yesterday we got.
Did they still
about
sell?
150?
How's
200
demand?
pounds.
I mean, with the pricing and the demand, supply,
Demand right now, at the end of the season, you always get less demand
Right.
than when you're in the beginning of the season. We had the snowbirds that were flying back home, so you don't have as many people looking for it. At the
Okay.
same time, you don't catch as many.
Right.
So like a 500 pounds day, you get 100. You get 200. So it's a lot less product.
How was the season overall? I mean, strong, or it was kind of up and down in terms of the supplies and
The season was very solid. It was a good season. I was surprised because of the hurricane. We were down 30% of the fishing fleet for at least almost 3.5 months before they got their gear back in the water.
I'm so clueless and old. There was a hurricane. I can't even remember it. I guess there was last year. Was there a Defo? You have a memory.
There's always something.
That's better than me now.
What was that? Irma or something? I don't know which one it was.
5 years ago.
I can't keep up with the names.
No, all right. Well, something. Yeah, there was definitely a storm. Oh, the one that hit the West
Naples,
Coast.
Yeah,
that was okay. No wonder it didn't affect us here.
Yeah.
So I mean, but it did.
devastating.
Yeah, it was devastating to the whole Fort Myers. Sanibel is still not recovered.
And it's still not recovering. And they are a big part of the stone crab season in Florida.
Obviously,
So
the Gulf Coast.
At least a third of our fleet was down for quite a bit.
Did it impact any other fish like the grouper, or what's going on? Those seasons coming up?
No,
or?
the season's coming up. They start producing the red grouper in Tampa right now. Actually, I got a shipment coming in Saturday morning. It should be here early. The red snappers they're catching the red snappers right now. So they're doing pretty good. They're coming back strong. I can't say anything bad about that. They got a very good product.
I can't believe I'm eating both steak and lobster.
Hey, that was a standard, right? Surf and turf.
And
right here at Delaware Chicken Farm.
this is my job now, kind of, sort of, or I don't know.
Looking forward for the next month to see what's going on.
I cannot wait. Jose, thanks. And we're talking Mother's Day coming up. Grill season. It's going to be we'll be here again before Memorial Day, so we'll be able to talk more about that holiday. But for Mother's Day, what do you offer? Do you have any special packages you put together for?
We haven't put the package together yet. It's definitely the lobster's going to be in the first page just because of the people like so much for moms. We had the Key West pink shrimps. We had our cooked shrimp that we do daily here at the store. We got them already ready cooked. Definitely a lot of the meat, the ribs. We definitely have everything and try to make it pleasant.
Mother's Day is one of those holidays where people, it turns into a nightmare for going out to restaurants because everybody takes mom out to a restaurant. They don't want her to cook or do anything. But I say if you really love mom, what you do is you come here and you don't make her do any of the cooking, but you buy some of these things that are like the lobster tails that are very simple to prepare, the steaks, which, any man should know how to turn on a grill and cook a steak for mom, for the women in the household. And you just you cook it yourself and avoid all the lines and the wait and all the aggravation, because Mother's Day is one of those days that, I love it. The next day in the Let's Eat South Florida in the queue, all these things about, we went out and we had to wait for an hour and a half for a tip. Yes, it's Mother's Day. That's what happens on Mother's Day. But if you want to avoid all that aggravation, just come out here to Delaware, phone in an order in advance, and they'll take great care of you. Get a couple of lobster tails, get some shrimp, cooked. It's already, you can make yourself a shrimp cocktail that's already prepared. All these things, right?
We we try to make it as easy as possible for our customers for so many years, and try to come up with some ideas. They always can come up and ask questions, and we'll bring Gene, which he cooked everything you got right now. He'll come out and talk to the customers and give them some good points on how to do it and what to use in the product.
And whatever mom wants, like you have duck, you have lamb chops, you have the chicken and seafood and fish and the steaks. So
nice turkeys.
Turkeys.
We do some rotisserie turkeys, which they can call early in the morning, and they'll have a nice turkey breast and the rotisserie. Which
I'm getting a bucket of that roasted fried chicken.
Roasted chicken.
Wow.
somebody like the fried chicken.
This way, if mom doesn't eat it, there's one more piece for me. It'd be fantastic.
All right, Jose, it's always a pleasure to stop in
Thank
here
you, guys.
for our monthly visit. We will wait with bated breath to see what you got on tap.
I don't
for
know how
next
you
month.
can top it. I mean, you're 3 for 3.
We'll come out with something. You guys are really, really put us on the spot. So we need to come out with something.
It's
and
like a weekly, a monthly challenge. It's like, but it's
actually better than most restaurants that you can go to. Come in here, and that's not even supposed to be their thing to cook this stuff for you.
This is something that has been improvised, and
really
with you guys coming on board, it has been. It's been a pleasant. It's been a really good combination for.
And us coming is great, but it's even better if you come out yourself here. Check it out, because this place is legendary. It's been here since, in this location, since the early 60s. Doug and Elsie Carter, and Doug is still going strong, and his crew here will take great care of you. Of course, the name Chicken Farm refers to the original location, which was back in the 1950s. So any place that's lasted this long in this market, they're doing not just something right, they're doing almost everything
but
right.
They're willing to evolve too, which is always great. They add new things, they do all kinds of new things, new nuances, constantly paying attention to the customer service. But when you have an iconic place that's not just sitting there saying, hey, if you don't like it, go somewhere else. I mean, they're always willing to evolve and give the people what they want. So it's great.
Yeah, we never used carry some beef, and we started because a customer asked.
Yeah.
And we brought a piece of beef, and they loved it. So now,
and you've upgraded your programs. You keep going
the whole line of beef, and try to provide quality.
And it is quality. I can attest to that, because the Gambling Gourmet, he don't just eat junk food. This is good, high quality stuff.
Great.
Yeah, it's great. Thanks, Jose.
Always a pleasure.
A pleasure. We'll see you next month in May.
Thank you so much.
When we'll be well into, it won't be hurricane season just yet, so we'll enjoy one more month of solitude. Although the rainy season seems to be here, especially in my house where 3 rooms got flooded. I hope you guys did okay here.
We did okay.
Yeah,
the weather was good to us, not so much to you.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
All good.
All right. Thanks a lot, Jose. All right. Coming back with more here. Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. We'll see how many of these steaks we can polish off before the end of the show. I've already got my eyes on a doggy bag that's going to be loaded up with a lot of good stuff. And we'll come back with more from Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market in a moment.
Looking for a great place for steaks, seafood, and more? Go to Tropical Acres Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. It's at 2500 Griffin Road in Dania, just west of I-95 and the airport. They've been there a long time, since 1949. That means they're doing something right. You'll get old school hospitality from the Studiali family, along with great value, for tremendous service. Of course, you could also go into the bar for happy hour every day, 4 to 6. The early bird special runs from 4:30 to 5:30, and they have great value all night long. Also, a butcher shop that's open every day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. except Sunday. The dining room is open every day at 4:30 except Sunday. Go to Tropical Acres. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. Hey, it's Mike Mayo. When the Brooklyn boy in me wants a good bagel with Nova or some matzo ball soup, homemade knishes, or a great deli pastrami sandwich on rye, you know where I go? Grandpa's Cafe in Dania Beach. It's been around a long time, an institution, but a little over a year ago, a pair of New Yorkers came in, bought it, and refurbished the place. It's beautiful, and they are now serving great breakfast, brunch, lunch. They've got the omelets. They've got eggs Benedict. They've got all kinds of great baked goods like rugelach. Grandpa's is just off Federal Highway on Southwest 1st Street in Dania Beach. It's open 7 days. Go in there, tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. When I'm looking for some wicked good food for a wicked good lunch, there's only one place to go. That's Wicked Cheesesteaks in Fort Lauderdale. It's at 4824 North Federal Highway, just south of Commercial Boulevard and across from Holy Cross Hospital. My friend Brian there, he will hook you up with some really tasty treats. They've got cheesesteaks just like the best you can find in Philly, along with lobster rolls, because that's where he's from, Maine originally, and they have wings and pizza and everything you want to have a really good time. Wicked Cheesesteaks, they're open every day but Tuesday. Go in there on a Wednesday. They got buy one, get one on cheesesteaks from 5 to 8 p.m. Check them out online, wickedcheesesteaks.com. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you.
We're back on the Lunchbox, and my, oh my. I mean, we started off with Jesse and his beef, Braveheart beef steaks. Then we had Jose and lobster tails stuffed. And now it's time for the segment with Defo, Lubie, and me, and it's going to be featuring Crow because we're talking playoffs.
How do you cook it so that it goes down a little bit more palatable?
I think with a nice little cherry gastrique sauce usually goes well with fowl.
Grey Poupon, pass a Grey Poupon.
But here's the thing,
Crow.
Defo. I mean, we have all this collective experience and wisdom supposedly between us. A couple of weeks ago, both shows, your morning sports show, the Defo show, and the Lunchbox had the estimable Dave Hyde on, one of the deans. And the consensus and it was that the Heat would be lucky to win one game against the Bucks. They were going to be easily disposed of.
Yes.
And the Panthers the same, going against one of the Boston Bruins team that put together one of the best regular seasons ever in NHL history.
No, it was the greatest by a lot.
We were saying this is not going to be, it's going to be ugly.
Yep.
And that the Heat absolutely had no shot, and maybe the Panthers could give them a little fight. And here we are, 2 weeks later,
looking stupid.
One night after a absolutely shocking night. I mean, even last night when it was 3-3 in that Panthers game.
It was done, yeah.
I mean, because they were up 3-2, and I said, all right, they're going to give up the tying goal, and then the Bruins are going to win it, and they almost won it in the last second, and that would have been heartbreaking.
But it was the Bruins goalie that made the bonehead Bobrovsky play.
In overtime.
Bobrovsky made a brilliant save with 1 second to go on a breakaway to send it to overtime.
Yes.
And then the Bruins goalie turned into Bill Buckner. He's just falling all over himself. Here, take the puck instead of me shooting the puck this way.
It was
like me on skates at that point.
Kachuk, who, look, he had been kind of silenced a lot the last couple of games and last night, and then he takes that opportunity, and he was able to not choke and get it into the net, and there we go. We got a series again. They're going to be back home on Friday night, and that if they win that game, then all of a sudden it's Game 7. And then, lo and behold, the Heat. No. Sorry, this game is blacked out in your area.
That's frustrating, yeah. If you can't find it. I happen to get Bally Sports.
I don't get Bally Sports.
And there was really little reason to, be overwhelmingly thinking that the Heat were going to do anything but try and come back home and close it out. Because
when they were down by 16.
Trailing throughout, seen go into the fourth quarter, and they ended up getting outscored by 16.
Here's what happened. At the beginning of it, they were 16 in the fourth quarter. They were down 16.
Here's what happened. I was listening like old school, old fashioned on a radio, but it was I was listening to Jason Jackson on the Heat radio network.
Oh, okay.
But through my Sirius XM app on my phone, and I had it with me. I was sitting on my couch listening to it, and when it was down 16, mentally I gave up, and I just ended up passing out. And then I woke up, and they were still playing, and it was 12:30 at night. And I was like, what the heck is going on? And then he said they were in overtime, and the Heat was winning by like 4 points. And I was like, I can't believe this. How did they come back? So I missed whatever happened. I guess it must have been another
big Jimmy Butler run, with help from the usual suspects who somehow wake up in the fourth quarter, at least in consecutive games did.
Bam again.
And Gabe Vincent, and you had Caleb Martin making a contribution. Kevin Love came back from the grave. So everything started clicking. It's just one of those things where the team was in disarray all season long. Whether you want to use injuries as an excuse, whatever. But they looked like they were on the brink of elimination. They actually were against Chicago in a play-in game, having lost their first opportunity. And most people were of the opinion that this was going nowhere. So here they are, and they faced the Knicks, the old, it's 23 years ago that they were rivals, but, they'll resurrect a lot of the old memories of those series, I'm sure.
Before we get to the Knicks, I just want to say two things. These whole events of the past, couple of weeks show two things. Number one, the utter stupidity of conventional wisdom.
You'll never win with
It's
conventional
sports.
wisdom.
It's why we love sports, because it's not a script. Yes, chalk can win, but again, there's a reason we call things upsets, and there are things called dogs. If there was only the chalk winning, then there'd be no point to watch. That's why we love this stuff.
And besides that, also the utter insignificance and the ridiculousness of the regular season, because it has no bearing. Like the Bucks are looking great; they get their number one seed. The Heat are looking totally in disarray.
And home ice in hockey seems
home
to
ice
mean
means
nothing.
nothing.
Yeah, but Jimmy Butler is a superstar, and yeah, it's maddening because you have the superstars in this league in the NBA that basically take time off, and this whole management program, and it just again. Don't even bother watching the regular season. Don't pay money for anything involving the regular season. But when everybody wakes up for the playoffs,
Silver
he
probably
has a
appreciates
sponsor.
your
I don't care.
comments.
I don't have an NBA sponsorship. He ain't paying me a dime. But
Go to your Heat games. Your regular season games are
It's a lot
phenomenal.
of fun.
You want to get to know your players.
get to
there's
know
a
the players
reason.
who are in their street clothes and on their management programs.
Don't
and
be so.
There's
big
a
Mayo.
reason over 70 years of NBA. When did they merge? The 70s. So over 50 years of NBA, it's only happened 6 times at 8-1. I'd rather be the one. Okay,
Yeah.
it matters. The regular season does matter. Believe me, the Heat fans would be very happy to have been the one. And that's why we love sports. Is 44 out of 50 times the one wins. But there's those 6 times. You're telling me I have a chance. And with Jimmy Butler, you're telling me I have a chance, I'll take it. And that's what.
It took a circus play.
Yeah,
also to
I mean,
stave off a
the last 2
loss.
games were nuts.
So,
And now, wouldn't it be something that the Panthers actually pulled out of Game 6 at home and sent it to Game 7? That's all you want as a Panther fan.
You want a chance.
you just jinxed that. Okay, so that won't happen. 5-2 Bruins. I wanted to,
You have to talk about your
mention
experience last
my
night.
son's birthday party.
Oh,
at
yeah,
the
yeah,
you
Yard
have
House.
to hear this.
All right. So this was great. I thought of you, Mike Mayo, when the check was about to be presented. And I didn't even realize. I was thinking, who's paying for this? Am I, going to get stuck with the check? It was like 12
You
people.
should, Grandpa.
All right, so we had
But there's other
everything.
grandpas,
There
there's
are
other
other
people.
grandpas there, and they
They're a big
probably have
family.
more means than I am. But so I'm always hoping somebody volunteers there. But all right, so we have 2 kids, 8 and 5, and we have then a total of 10 other people. All right, so 12 people. Nice arrangement at the table.
You know how I feel about large parties.
Well, like I said, everything
But
you
it's a
would have
birthday, what do
been.
you
You would have been making faces like all of the 3 Stooges at once.
And you were
It's
where
some
again at
calamity.
the Yard House in my
Yard House
Liam
at
likes
Meiser
Yard
Park.
House. Liam
Meiser
likes
Park.
Yard House.
All right. I don't know what the arrangement was. Now it's time for the and the guy did a really good job. Waiter's name was Jake. Did a really good job. It seemed like they even had a few other people like assisting because of the fact that we had a large party there. Restaurant wasn't that crowded at that time, but they did have people, especially outside. All right. So then when the check comes, we have a separate check arrangement.
Oh, God.
With undefined. I don't even know how the guy knew how to separate the checks.
The guy did it.
Because and then they have this little device which I hadn't seen before on the table where you can order and pay right there.
Right.
Which you would think is easier.
The waiter says it would be a lot easier for all of us if you just let me separate the checks and print them out and paid me. And I didn't know that there was any subversive advantage to that.
Was there an automatic gratuity?
There was no automatic gratuity.
Really?
No automatic
Party at
gratuity.
12.
Well, but it was separate checks now, so that was another one of your issues that you had. And then on top of that, there was another thing that came up, which was what was ordered before and after the expiration
Well, the
of happy hour, which was 6 o'clock.
Well, we haven't talked about this, but that actually, look, if you get there before the end of happy hour, you should be able to order some happy hour, but all your dishes are happy hour.
Right. If you're still there at 8, you shouldn't be getting the happy hour price.
Well, usually the computer has a timestamp, and then it automatically gives you
Which
the
it
happy
did,
hour pricing.
but it
But
didn't
people
in this
dispute
case.
that.
So after the check presentation, now one guy's paying and this guy's paying, we're paying. a dispute came up. Not really a dispute, but it was brought up very cordially that this one appetizer that was on my friend Stan's check was ordered before 6 o'clock, but he was charged the full price. So now, after all of this wrangling and haggling and separate checks, you're thinking, okay, the last thing the waiter wants to see is somebody complaining is to go back and check. Hey, Manny, did you see the timestamp on this? Okay, all right, half price, knock it off. And I would have to say, though, that with all of this machinima stuff, you had everything going.
Nightmare. Just
We're gonna be
it was
stressing
handled
out
very
doing that.
professionally by everybody involved.
Did he give them the break on the appetizer?
He
Probably.
He got his
took it off.
extra $3 off or $4 off.
Whatever it was, yeah. It might have been
Now
six.
I'm turning into the Let's Eat group members because I would just say,
See,
you
you're
know
ready
what?
to attack, but
if you're gonna start getting all chintzy over that, just stay home.
Look, I'm not gonna
I
lie.
don't really think it was chintzy because look, they have the happy hour and the prices are very reasonable. So you might, with a large party, have a tendency to order even more appetizers.
Yes.
Like, hey, they had that giant pretzel thing. That was great. By the
How
way.
was the food?
Food
That's
was
the
good.
question.
Food was good.
I
you
used
know,
to like
I've
Yard
been a
House a
little
lot. I haven't
bit-
been there in a while.
You've
I'm
been
a
down
little
on
bit
it.
down
Your
on the-
name was mentioned a couple of times at the table as having suggested we go somewhere else. But I don't think the Meisner, chapter of the Yard House has been negatively
Anybody
impacted.
have a burger? Do they have burgers?
I didn't see any burgers.
They have
on
burgers.
The
The
table.
burger's okay.
Yeah.
The
No,
burger's
I'm-
solid.
They did a pretty good job with
They have these
their,
lettuce wraps,
their
Thai lettuce
tuna
wraps that I
stuff.
like.
I had lettuce wraps. You'll find that very pedestrian.
No, they
But,
make it nice. They do a nice job with
They
it.
do a nice job. They give you plenty of stuff.
Yep.
And it's very well presented, very tasty.
Actually, at Yard House, one of my favorite dishes is a tuna. They do it like a
They
tuna,
have a tuna
nachos.
nacho. Yeah. We had that.
That's really good.
It's
That was
ahi
very good,
tuna,
yeah,
right? It's like
very
seared ahi tuna, but a nacho
It's like,
kind
yeah,
of a
You're
concept.
not
Exactly.
expecting it to be as
That
tasty
is my
as it
favorite
yeah.
dish,
Yeah.
but it's it's good.
All right, so
It's-
where do you start the attack, Mike Mayo? Separate checks, party of
No,
12, two
you know what?
kids.
It's a kid's birthday party.
Yeah.
It wasn't at Chuck E. Cheese, so I give you major props just
Yes,
for
yes.
getting the
Chuck
kid
E.
out of
Cheese
Chuck E.
is
Cheese.
a total, I don't want to say it's a ripoff. I don't want to
No,
condemn
no,
the company.
it is what
if
it
you
is,
like
but-
Chuck E. Cheese, it's good, but $35 a kid, you got to be kidding me.
That's like getting a
Or,
burger from Uber
potato
Eats.
tots or whatever, tater tots and whatever
Yeah,
else.
I'm glad it worked out. Look, I would have broken into hives just with a group of 12 and 10 kids.
But this is a group that
They're a
is good in
family. You
restaurants.
guys go
It's
out
not like,
together.
we're a bunch of schleps that are
no.
gonna cause
And
problems,
again, going back to yesterday, kids absolutely belong in restaurants. That's
Yes.
fine.
But
But
they were
Well-behaved
very well
kids.
behaved because
of those,
Yeah.
the thing, they were all
artificial
were
intelligence.
were they betting the late double again?
Exactly.
I wouldn't
Come
put it past
on,
them.
six.
Were you feeding them a couple of
Kid had a lot of money. The only card they didn't have money in it was the card I gave him from you guys on the lunchbox. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. And Liam looked at us and said, "What's this? Who's Mike Mayo?" Which is
So while you were in Kitty Hell yesterday, I
no,
actually
it
had
wasn't hell. It was great.
No, good.
I want
For
to compliment
you.
the people. They handle it all. You're prejudging the whole situation, but it was comical because
You just had
everything
all the
that is always complained about on Let's Eat South Florida
Happened.
was in play.
Right.
Everything.
and yet everybody survived, and that's good.
It
It's
worked
good.
out.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, while you were doing that yesterday, I did a couple of things. I had a little dinner first at the Catherine. Timon was not around. He had his daughter had a gala or a fancy
Oh, nice.
like a dance that she was
Was
going
that
to.
receipt from Public Soda?
But how did you still get comp
'Cause,
things
it looked
then?
like you were buying a
I
lot
got a lot
of
of
BOGO.
BOGOs, yeah.
How do you still get comp things if they weren't there and
There's
you
a
didn't
network.
tell them?
I didn't tell them, but my name is in the system, and then they have this network. It's like an emergency broadcast network.
Like they
Anytime
know.
I come into a
That's the
restaurant,
face identification.
people are texting each other.
Oh my God, he's here!
And our server, the lovely
Mayo,
Daisy,
Mayo,
said,
table 12.
Timon wanted to send some drinks to you. I was like, Timon's
How does
not
he
here.
know?
And he goes,
How
well,
does
I
he
didn't even
know?
know you were there.
No,
They're
I
like-
did. I swear, I didn't text them before. I was
Don't believe them, people.
That's
No.
my favorite.
Anyway, had a
Turned
nice
into
meal
a major
at the
schnorrer.
Catherine. Then I stopped off at our friends Joey at Cafe Seville, and
Nice.
he told me a couple.
Seville
Of,
after the Catherine? My God.
yeah, I just had a
Unbelievable.
nightcap there. I was
Good.
watching some of the hockey
All right,
there,
all right.
and but I stopped in. Joey's doing well. He was happy because his horse,
That was a good section.
Sargusa ran a good second. He's encouraged by that. The Sally Seville had a awkward race where she was up front and then got pulled back and then rallied to finish fourth. But he's bullish on both horses for the future. He expects that both be breaking their maidens hopefully soon.
All right.
And we were talking Derby. I'd love to get him on just to talk.
He'll never come on.
He's never been on the
funny
show.
about that.
Yeah. He's been a good sponsor. I love Cafe Seville.
Great bike.
But I'm trying to get him to come on to do like a Kentucky preview, a Kentucky
great.
Derby preview. He did tell me a couple things that he is heavily rooting for Tapit Trice, who I think is your horse, right?
No, I don't care for that horse.
You don't? Okay.
Well, he's ruined me a couple of times
He
already.
used to like
He
that
keeps
horse.
winning at the last second. And you know what? Take your
you,
gray
Tapit
Pletcher
Trice.
and throw him in the Hudson River.
Of the Pletcher horses, he's the one that I also like the least. I like Kingsmarts, but Joey liked Tapit Trice so much that he's got him 2 times in future books at odds of 19 to 1.
Oh, wow.
And also
For the
like
Derby. Or
17.
just-
Well, yeah, he bet future book like he's got a whole bunch of money on Tapit Trice at 19 to 1. So
that's a nice number.
We're going to be rooting for him. Although
one way to
care
root
before
for
Derby.
him, and again, that's coming up next week. And of course, I got to talk about big crowds, large groups. Yeah, I'm going to be grinning and bearing it. This Sunday, we're going to be out at
Yes,
Gulfstream Park.
Gulfstream.
It's going to be a nice group because we've got 5 contest winners
Oh,
coming
nice.
out.
wow.
That they've all decided
So
to
that
go on
represents
April
10
30th.
people?
That's
Yeah.
10 alone.
10
yeah.
people,
Okay.
plus actually one is bringing, actually 2 of them are bringing extras.
So
So
that's
that
12
alone
people.
is like 15. One of them didn't want to sit with us. Like this one winner.
I don't blame him.
It was like she already booked her own table because she was coming out with some friends. And she's, she took one look at us and said, "You don't want to sit with us."
I wouldn't want to sit with
That's
this
okay.
crew.
Smart woman.
But,
You should
yeah.
watch Mayo eat.
But
Especially,
again,
especially if they have crab legs and Lubie
And
gets a
I
hold
can
of the
be a
buffet
schnorr,
there, yeah.
yes.
there'll be a couple others who are going to be paying the discounted price of $40 for the all-day buffet there
Nice.
at 10 Palms. And again, it's still open. Anybody who wants to join us on this Sunday,
Wow.
we're going to be gathering at about 12 o'clock. First race is at 12:40. 10 Palms opens with the buffet at 11:30, but we're going to get there a little bit, at noon. But anybody who wants to turn out, just send an email to me before tomorrow at noon, before tomorrow's show, because
Before we
I gotta
see
let
Joe, yeah.
I gotta let Joe Beja, the director of food and beverage there, know our final count. But if you want to come, and again, $40 plus tax and tips, so about 50-ish with a mimosa included.
And again, you can get 2 meals. At least
You'll
out
be
of it.
grazing all day
Oh,
and
yeah.
hopefully cashing tickets. Me and Defo are going to be giving
I'll
out
be there all
winners.
day.
We're going to be
I may not
conducting
be there all day. but these two
handicapping
will.
Like we did
seminars.
last night. We were right on it.
handicapping seminars. Email me, MikeMayoEats@gmail.com. MikeMayoEats@gmail.com.
This Sunday.
Just RSVP between now and tomorrow's show and just say, hey, want to come out? There'll be 2 of us or a party of 3. And that way I'll have the tally. I'll have your name. It'll be, we'll be sitting there right overlooking the finish line. It's going to be tons of fun. I can't wait for it. So,
Got to thank the
That's
people
gonna
out
be-
here at Delaware.
Yes,
Chicken Farm
thank
and
you so
Seafood
much.
Market. They
Got
knocked it
lots
out of
of
the park
steaks.
again
Y'all done a
today.
great
I
job.
see
We
steaks.
did our
I
best.
have
We
my
tried.
eyes on a couple of them to take.
I polished
Yeah.
off a pretty good.
We
I had
did
a
well.
lobster tail.
Well,
Defo
yeah,
was
we would expect
very
no less of you,
mild
yeah.
mannered, but
Yeah.
we did
Good.
our best.
It's
All right.
all good. All right, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks to
Lubie's
Again,
leaving a cue to
Jesse
music.
Jesse Jacobs and the people at Braveheart Beef and Performance Food
Nice
Services Group, and of course Jose and the great folks, the Doug Carter and crew at Delaware Chicken Farm and
See,
Seafood
you know what
Market.
Jesse said to me as he was leaving?
What's that?
You guys get paid to come out here and schlubber and eat?
Yeah,
It's
it's
like,
like
yeah. How
what-
great is this?
what a life.
You found a whole new calling.
We
Mike
have
Mayo.
shameless. It is shameless. That's it. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll see you again tomorrow from Gulfstream Park for our usual Friday contest day.
Not a bad
And
spot
again,
to be.
Sunday we'll be out there just having fun, not broadcasting. MikeMayoEats@gmail.com if you want to join us. Until then, it's Mike Mayo saying enjoy every steak, enjoy every lobster tail, enjoy every Perrier,
and every winning
enjoy.
exacta.
and every sandwich.